When you hear Xbox Game Pass, what comes to mind? Well, what comes to my mind is the best deal in gaming. Another thing that could come to mind is that what is Microsoft doing, giving their consumers, all this great content for a low monthly price? Well, when you hear about Sony and PlayStation Plus, what comes to mind?
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
What also comes to mind is a company that finesses their audience, that milk their audience for everything they have. If you ask a PlayStation fan, how they felt about the games that they got this year, Lego Horizon, Astrobot, and so forth, they would say, wow, that was fire. I mean, listen to this, Pony.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Z, I'm sorry. Can I interrupt the show for a second? I just want to talk to my man J-Dub for a minute, man. J-Dub, do you realize the hype that's behind Astrobot, bro? They're not. This is the first game. This is the first game that I've seen, man, that can literally take over Mario.
What? Y'all smoking crack! Something is wrong with you people!
What? Yeah.
Stop it, bro.
Let me get Listen, the first game sold 60 million copies now.
No, it didn't.
You know what?
No, it didn't.
Hold on. You know what's so crazy about that? Like, when you have a game like that, you not only sell video games and consoles, now they gonna sell toys, they gonna
TV show, a movie, cartoon, all kind of.
Bruh, it's so much to do with that. That's where you making some real money, bro.
Is that what you're opening the room, ladies and gentlemen? The room is open.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this, right?
What?
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm finna go out there.
What?
In the first 7 days, I think it's gonna sell close to 4 or 5 million.
So then, now, when does crack? Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
How many times would these ponies be wrong? How many times would they try to understand the gaming industry and it's proven that they know absolutely nothing? Today, however, we are going to look at more reasons how these ponies, they got it wrong. We are going to look at more reasons as to how the critics got it wrong when it comes to Game Pass, when it comes to games going on to Game Pass. I remember what they said. They said that Game Pass is not sustainable. They said that Game Pass was cannibalizing sales. But we're going to look at it today. So you know what? Let's get it.
This is a sickness!
Let's get it. So before we continue the video, guys, we are on the road to 4,000 subscribers. So if this type of content interests you, please consider subscribing. When you do that, you get the best Xbox content this side of the Western Hemisphere. And in addition to that, you get some Nintendo news every now and again. And of course, we specialize in the salt. We bring the salt. We produce it. We harvest it. The Sony Pony Salt, you'll be getting that live and in living color. So if this type of content interests you, please consider subscribing. Now let's get back to the video. So I remember the PlayStation community and the critics said that Game Pass cannibalized sales. They said that Game Pass is not growing and it's not sustainable. Now, with the recent release of Indiana Jones, that was a good way to see whether or what Indiana Jones did. Although persons did not have much faith in that game. That game came out to be IGN's Game of the Year. In addition to that, it also did really raise eyebrows in the gaming community as being a very, very good game. And even if it is you an indie fan, you'll be pleasantly surprised to see what this game does. Well, it just so happened that we have not the complete picture of what Indiana Jones did, but we just have a little snippet as to how well Indiana Jones did since it came out. Look at this.
Indiana Jones was the second best-selling game in the US its debut week, behind another Xbox property. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was only behind Call of Duty, Black Ops 6 in its debut week in the US. We've got some neat, extremely early data for one of the year's last big games. Usually, I'm eagerly waiting for once-a-month data drops from Circana Executive Director and Analyst Matt Piscatella, but every so often, he shares a bit more insight into what's going on week to week with US video game sales. As shared on Monday, Bethesda Softworks and Machina Games' Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was the second best-selling game in dollar sales of its full debut week-ending Dec. 14, 2024. Holding firm in the number one spot was, of course, Activision's Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, another first-party Xbox title that launched a couple of months before Indiana Jones. Black Ops 6 has dominated the charts since it launched, being the best-selling game of October and November in the US. I say, full debut week, for a reason, as it's starting from December 9th, the day that the Standard Edition and Xbox Game Pass launch of Indiana Jones was available. Players who purchased the Premium Edition, or the Premium Upgrade, for Game Pass subscribers were able to start playing on December 6th. These sales aren't counted for the following week, making the figure a bit more impressive, especially since players enjoying the game solely through Xbox Game Pass naturally aren't counted on the dollar sales charts. In a separate post, Piscatella also shared that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was the third most played game on Xbox Series X consoles for the same week, using Circana data tracking total hours, not concurrent players. Obviously, this is just the earliest results, and we'll have a better picture of how Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is selling as time goes on. Still, I'm happy to see this kind of solid debut, and I'd love to see word of mouth continue to result in more players and sales. We could all use more old school fun and Nazi punching in our lives.
Wow. So we're seeing here that Indiana Jones, in the first week of sales, really did well. It came in number 2, only second to Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And that is amazing because this game released on Game Pass, it released on Game Pass PC, and yet still persons went out and purchased this game to enjoy this experience. Wow, it's amazing. But you have to wrap your mind around this, guys, because think about it. Now we are seeing 2 games that are on Game Pass on the top of the sales charts. Doesn't that go against the narrative of what these ponies and critics say about Game Pass is not sustainable, that Game Pass cannibalize sales? I mean, who could remember when they said all of this? Grums on Twitter tweeted, vindicated once again. When Microsoft acquired Blizzard, I explained how Game Pass is not sustainable and bad for developers. I was endlessly attacked for this and told it was great. I was right then, and now here we are with Microsoft not able to sustain the studio. And he went on to say that, it's basically not sustainable, it's not good for the industry. Red Dragon tweeted, Xbox fans claiming Palworld sales on PC Steam means Xbox Game Pass doesn't cannibalize sales is Olympic mental gymnastic territory. So yeah, these guys were saying that, Xbox Game Pass cannibalize sales. It's not sustainable. I mean, we even had Dreamcast guys saying this about this, making this erroneous claim about Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
This thing is going to bomb. I'm going to call it right now. You can clip it. I'm filming this at 10 a.m. on May 17th. This is about to be the lowest selling Call of Duty of all time. Now it's going to bump up some Game Pass numbers, which is kind of the point in a way. So
we clipped him, and yes, he was absolutely wrong. Because the evidence came out and showed that Black Ops was the biggest Call of Duty opening in history. We even saw that as the months went on, Black Ops continued to sell great, up 10% and so forth. So these ponies were absolutely wrong when it comes to Game Pass. Because not only is Game Pass sustainable, it does not cannibalize sales, and that's the proof there. If it did cannibalize sales, then Call of Duty was not supposed to be the highest Call of Duty opening ever. If it cannibalized sales, then why is Indiana Jones: The Great Circle still selling despite being on Game Pass, both console and PC? Make it make sense, you ponies. Make it make sense. But I know why these ponies hate Game Pass. I know why it is they must spin this negative narrative on Game Pass. It's because
hate us because they ain't us.
Exactly. They hate us because they ain't us. That's a great saying, okay?
Hate us because they ain't us.
They hate us because they ain't us.
But that's not it, guys. Not only is Indiana Jones doing well when it comes to sales on Xbox, not only is Call of Duty Black Ops 6 doing exceptionally well when it comes to sale on Game Pass, we even see Stalker 2. Yes, Stalker 2 has already seen profitability when it comes to, being exclusive so far on Game Pass and on Xbox. We already know that they sold over 1 million copies in about 3 or 4 days. In addition to that, they would have come out and say that they made a profit already. Listen.
Following Stalker 2's success, developer GSC Game World contends with this new reality. We now have a really big audience. Stalker 2 is a hit. Officially, it's sold 1 million copies across PC and Xbox Series X and S, with many more playing on Game Pass. Reports coming out of Ukraine, where developer GSC Game World was originally based before Russia's full-scale invasion of the country in 2022, indicate Stalker 2 is already profitable. There's even talk of a Netflix series. But what does this success mean for GSC Game World itself and the future of Stalker 2? IGN interviewed GSC CEO Evgeny Grigorovich and creative director Maria Grigorovich at BAFTA in Piccadilly, London following a screening of War Game, The Making of Stalker 2, to ask if Stalker 2's big sales were a game changer for the developer. Discussing the impact of Stalker 2's release in English, which is obviously not their first language, Evgeny and Maria talked about how the studio now faces a new reality, and with it a bigger audience than it's ever had to contend with. The first steps as part of this new reality will revolve around working to improve Stalker 2 itself, something GSC has already done with multiple patches, but also to expand its plans for continued support. You need to think properly because we now have a really big audience and sometimes different parts of this audience want to see different things, Maria cautioned. So we need to live now with this new reality, with a live community and talking with them and try to understand them maybe deeper because we really want to make our relationship good. Evgeny went into more detail, saying that while GSC's plan for the development of future video games remains unchanged, it plans to invest even more in post-launch support of Stalker 2 than it had previously earmarked. Around 5 years ago or maybe 6 years ago, we had a plan of what we were going to do in the nearest 10, 15 years, he revealed. What projects we want to do, how we're going to look like. And all these years we are slightly updating this plan by just moving the dates forward until we release the game. And so 6 years passed and we still want to do the same games as we planned earlier and nothing changed. The only things that changed is that we didn't think that we would like to invest much more time in live updates of Stalker 2 after game release, that we would want to add much more things in this game in live updates. What does this mean for Stalker 2 and its players, then? Evgeny confirmed that GSC is now in a position to add ideas it was forced to cut from the game before launch because they weren't ready, and even add new ideas that have sprung up in the wake of Stalker 2's release. We didn't expect that we would go back to improving Stalker 2 for a lot, Evgeny explained. And now we still have the same plan for 10, 15 years of development of other things we want. But also putting much more in development of Stalker 2. Because actually I love the world we built. I still find a lot of things that we can make better and we want to make better. And now we have players for whom we can do that, for whom we have to do that. And for me it's very driving. Those same reports coming out of Ukraine suggest Stalker 2 will get at least 2 expansions and even multiplayer, which may be one of the ideas Evgeny was talking about. The hope, it seems, is that Stalker 2's success could help put Ukraine on the game development map, as CD Projekt's The Witcher 2 had done for Poland.
So again, based on what IGN is reporting here, Stalker 2 is a massive hit, and that's because they chose to back the correct team, and that is the Xbox team. The Xbox developers, the Xbox community really supported this game. Not only they played it as much as they can on Xbox, but they also purchased it both on PC and on Xbox. Now, this goes against everything that the media is saying. This goes against everything that Sony fans are saying, that Xbox don't buy games. You know, when games go to Game Pass, it doesn't do well. The developers are angry. No. When you put good quality games like Stalker 2 and you have the marketing team of Xbox behind it, it will, of course, do well. So let me hear what you think about everything that was said today. We know that the narrative that Game Pass is unsustainable, that cannibalized sales, is not true based on every evidence I would have shown here today. But let me hear what you thought about it in the comment sections below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.